As per your request, today we're macrameing a wolf pixel wall hanging. Hi friends, we're going to be working off of a 12-inch wooden dowel. I like to purchase mine from the dollar store. You get quite a few and it's only for about $1.50. Now you can also work off of a branch, or you could go to the hardware store and buy large wooden dowels there and cut them to size. However, for me, the easiest is just to run down to my local dollar store. Taking a look at my pixel pattern, there are 44 squares all the way across the top, which means we're going to need 22 60-inch strands of single strand cotton rope. Now to attach them to our wooden dowel, we're going to tie them using a lark's head knot. So you want to fold it in half, place the loop end behind your wooden dowel, and then thread the tail ends through the loop. Another way of tying a lark's head knot is to just take the loop and fold it over itself. If you've watched any of my other tutorials, you'll know that I snap my fingers and the knots are suddenly on the wooden dowel. This second method is how I'm always tying my knots. I find the second method a lot faster than the regular typical way, and I thought it would be fun to share that with you. Just a PSA, I'm just getting over a cold, so you might hear me lose my voice throughout the process of this tutorial. Alright, so for the rest of this pattern, we're going to be using medium worsted weight yarn. I like the brand Sheep G's Chunky Monkey, and you want to make sure you have two contrasting colors. And for our first row, it's all the one darker color. I decided to use this dark olive green because I really wanted that woodland feeling. So with your darker color, you want to snip off a long strand, and the length doesn't really matter, but I'm using about my arm span. So for our first row, we start at the top left corner and work our way all the way straight across to the top right. Each square is a vertical double half hitch knot in that corresponding color. So to tie your vertical double half hitch knot, you want to place your long strand of yarn behind your first strand of rope, make a loop on your right, wrap your long tail end around and through the loop. Now, technically, this is just a half hitch, and as you can see, all it is just looped around your rope. So to make a double half hitch, you want to repeat the same thing. So make a loop on your right, wrap your long tail end around and through the loop, and cinch it up. But don't cinch it too tight, because for our first knot, you want to be able to slide it all the way up to the top. Now your second knot is going to look different, so place that same strand of yarn underneath the next strand of rope. And just like you did before, you want to make a loop on your right, wrap your cord around and through the loop, cinch it all the way up to the top this time, and then repeat. So make a loop, wrap it around, through the loop, and cinch it up to the top. And that is how you tie a vertical double half hitch knot. And macrame pixel patterns is basically all the same knot over and over and over again. And as you can see, it gets quite repetitive, which makes this type of art really therapeutic, or at least it's therapeutic to me. It is also quite time consuming, as these are really small knots and a very big grid. Altogether, this project took me 2 days to complete, but I warn you, I'm fast at it and I was quite dedicated for those 2 days. Alright, so work all the way straight across to the end of the row. Every time I complete a row, what I like to do is highlight each row that I've finished. That way I don't get lost in my pattern. For our first row, we worked from left to right. Our second row, we need to work right to left, so we have to go backwards. Working with the same strand of yarn you did in the previous row, you want to take it and place it behind your last strand of rope, bringing it over to the left hand side. Make a loop on your left and tie your knots just the same as you were before, only we're going in reverse. So for our first row, we were doing right facing vertical double half hitch knots, and for our second row, we're doing left facing vertical double half hitch knots. So each row we're going to alternate which direction we're going, because we're going to zigzag all the way down our grid pattern. At this point, I ran out of length of our green yarn, so if that happens to you, All you have to do is just grab your ball of yarn and snip off another long strand. This is why I said earlier that it doesn't really matter the length, because anytime you run out of length, we're just going to add a new piece. So to add a new piece, what we're going to do is we're going to attach it the same way we did at the start, only we're going in a reverse row, which means our short tail end has to be on the right hand side. So to attach it, you want to make a loop on your left, wrap your tail end around and through the loop, cinch it up, and then repeat one more time. And you don't want to cinch it too tight, because for our attaching piece, we want to be able to slide it all the way up to the top of our pattern. Now with the short tail ends, all you have to do is just tuck them behind your work, and we will clean them up at the end of our project. Now taking a look at our pattern, we need to switch to a new color. So place your previous one down flat, grab your other ball of yarn, snip off a long strand, and we're going to attach it just like we did at the start of our project, only we're going in reverse for this row. So whenever you run out of length of your cord or you need to attach a new color, we're going to do the same thing and just attach a new piece just like this. Because macrame pixel wall hangings is pretty much just the one knot over and over and over again, I find that this is a really easy way to make a wall hanging. The smaller the grid and the less colors you have, the easier your pattern, whereas the larger the grid and the more details you have, the more difficult the pattern becomes. I skipped ahead just a tad so that I can show you how to switch back to your previous color. And it is also quite easy. What you want to do is pick up all your filler cords, locate your previous color, and all we're going to do is run it underneath. You want your yarn underneath your filler cords but over top of your previous yarn. So those two white tail ends, you want them on top but underneath your filler cords. Then all you have to do is go to your next strand of rope and tie your vertical double half hitch knot just the same as you were before. But please note, don't pull your runner cord too taut, otherwise it might make it pucker. You just want it to lie flat like a giant stitch in the back of your work. Also, this pattern is a little bit different because a lot of our white cord is in the center. It doesn't make sense to run underneath such a large portion of our wall hanging. So for the first couple of rows, I did run it, but then after that, I attached another long strand of green yarn on the other side. That way that there was two strands on both sides, so I didn't have to constantly be running it behind our white. Okay, so I'm gonna highlight our second row now that we've completed it. And for our third row, we're going back in the other direction again. Also, right where our color changes, I like to just section it out and divide it just like this so that I don't accidentally go too far. Alright, so for our third row, we're going right to left and we're going to zigzag all the way down our grid pattern. That last knot always feels so rewarding. I know that montage makes it look like it didn't take a long time, but that was about 16 hours of work or so. I was thinking that I might start going live on TikTok during the portion of all of that knotting just so that I have some company with me. Is that something you'd be interested in? I know it's a little bit boring to watch the same knot over and over again, but it would really help keep me company. Would you be interested in something like that? Let me know in the comments. Anyways, to clean up the mess on the back, what I like to do is grab any two strands that are close together and tie just a regular double overhand knot and snip off the excess yarn. And don't worry, this process doesn't take nearly as long as all those vertical double half hitch knots. Now for this wall hanging, I'm just gonna leave the back just with all the knots like this, but there is a more professional way to finish it off by adding a backing and your signature. If you're interested in that video, I do have a tutorial if you want to take a peek. This macrame wolf tapestry was also a pattern request, so if you have a request, please leave them in the comments below and I'll see what I can do for you. But for now, I'm gonna grab a cup of tea and rest my voice for a little bit. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.